whatever. Can handle both in that confined space without a tremendous
no
step
matter
forward.
how much you set in place, how much you try to prepare for, until it actually happens, it's just not the same thing.
Again, you're looking at a live picture of the World Trade Center, where shortly before 9 o'clock this morning, and then shortly after 9 o'clock, planes apparently deliberately crashed into the buildings. Lonnie DeVito, are you there? Lonnie DeVito, are you there? I understand we have another eyewitness to this catastrophe. Lonnie DeVito, are you there? No, apparently we lost Lonnie, but again...
This may be confusing to some people, because in a sense it is a little confusing to me. We every now and then see what looks like, I don't know if it's the bottom of a chopper that is swinging back and forth.
That would be our...
That is ours.
That would be the rotors from our chopper every once in a while.
Hey, Jim.
That's Lonnie DeVito, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Lonnie. Thank you. This is Jim Ryan in the studio. Can you tell us what you heard and saw when the blast took place?
Right now, I was actually talking to my brother on the phone about what happened. I was on my roof and I saw something from where I am. I really can't see what it is. I saw something go into the other building, because from where I am, I could see the World Trade Center. I run downstairs and I see on the news that it looks like another fighter jet is what it looks like. And from my house, I could see all the smoke that's into Diker Heights. I could see all of that. It's ridiculous. I can't believe all of this is happening, honestly.
You say you're in Diker Heights,
yes.
Lonnie?
Yes.
Okay. And could you hear the blast from where you were?
No, I couldn't hear the blast, but I saw something, and it didn't look pretty. Exactly how I can't explain it in any other way. I'm in shock right now.
All right, you are looking at live pictures, folks. This is coming to you from the southern end of Manhattan, the World Trade Center, both towers in flames, apparently hit by two separate jetliners. The FBI is now checking out reports of a hijacking just before this terrible, terrible incident occurred. It happened, the first one was hit just before 9 this morning. The second one hit a couple of minutes after 9. John Hires is an eyewitness to all of this, is on the phone with us. John, what did you see? John Hires. John, are you with us?
Hi, yes, Sean.
All right, we lost John Hires. We have another view now of that plane slamming into the second building. Look at it. It's coming in from the side, coming low, hitting the building about in the middle. Folks, you see the pictures. It looks like Hollywood, but this is real. The reports are, again, these are very unconfirmed. We're trying to be responsible with what we bring you here. But the reports of a hijacking of a plane coming into the FBI, a hijacking of a plane shortly before this incident took place. Now, you can imagine if a couple of trained pilots, and this would not be beyond the reach of many terrorist organizations around the world, a couple of trained pilots were to take control of one of these sophisticated jetliners. Once they're in the air, folks, they are easy to fly. And you disengage the autopilot, you can take that plane anywhere you want to go. 50,000 people or so working in those two buildings, and both now have been struck by airliners. Our Wendell Goler is at the White House, rather make that Sarasota. He is traveling with the president. Wendell Goler, what's the reaction from the president?
John, the president is here promoting a reading initiative on the second day of a two-day trip to Florida. He just finished reading to some children at the Emma Booker Elementary School and was asked about the incident. He said he was aware of it and that he would have something to say about it later. His aides have been scrambling for the past 15 or 20 minutes, both to find out what is happening and to keep the president briefed as well. Mr. Bush is scheduled to address the school here and then return to the White House later in the day for a congressional barbecue at the White House. One must imagine that he may be going home a little earlier than scheduled, and that the barbecue, if it is held, will be a very somber affair. Secret Service agents are also watching the video on Fox and other television networks. All real sense that this may well be a terrorist incident of some kind, and something that will certainly draw the president's involvement. We've got a report from the FBI that a 737 was hijacked very shortly before the second plane flew into the other World Trade Center tower. And as you can aware, the president, who travels with secure communication to his national security staff, is being briefed about this even as we speak. John?
All right, Wendell Goler, thanks very much. Again, the reports are preliminary, and they are as awful as the pictures that you are seeing there on your screen, perhaps even more so, because it raises the prospect. Take a look now. This tape is from earlier, as you see the second jetliner, and we don't have an identification on that jetliner yet, but you see that jetliner slamming into the second tower of the World Trade Center about a couple of minutes after 9 o'clock. The New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated. This is going to cause a great deal of chaos in financial markets worldwide, to say nothing of the absolutely certain loss of life. We have a report of 6 people dead and 1,000 injured, but those numbers are certainly going to go up. The also awful part of this is if there was in fact a hijacking, one doesn't know how many people may have been on board one or both planes if in fact they were hijacked. Eric?
The other question is perhaps were they in the air and hijacked? Did they come from Canada? I want to just point out that there was the plane that we just saw that crashed into the World Trade Center. It could be a 737. It could be one of the smaller Airbuses that are twin engines that are flown by Air Canada, and they obviously came down from the north. Does that mean they came from Canada? No. But let me just start raising some speculation as responsibly as I possibly can. We don't know what the security arrangements are in every airport around the country. Were these planes that happened to be parked on the tarmac? Were they in maintenance? Were they already on the ground in a taxiway in some airport before they hit? I did see one plane go down Fifth Avenue very low before it banked right toward the World Trade Center. That plane, what my initial thought was that it was a smaller Airbus, but definitely a commercial plane, just like the second one that we just saw hit the World Trade Center in that videotape.
Mark Bernbach, a Fox employee, is on the phone with us. Mark witnessed this from what we understand. Mark, were you close enough to be able to see any markings on the airplane?
Hi, gentlemen. How you doing? Yeah, there was definitely a blue logo. It was like a circular logo on the front of the plane, definitely towards the front. It definitely did not look like a commercial plane. I didn't see any windows on the sides, and as far as I knew when I saw it coming down, I was like, well, LaGuardia is pretty far away, and that plane is really slow, and definitely very low, and I'm completely panicked. I'm freaking out. I cannot believe what I just saw.
We are all shaken by this. We are watching the video now back live, but the upper floors of the World Trade Center in Manhattan in flames now after apparently 2 large airplanes, we're talking about jetliners here, slammed into the sides right around 9 o'clock this morning. Mark, if what you say is true, those could be cargo planes or something like that. You said you didn't see any windows in the side?
I didn't see any windows on the sides. I saw the plane flying low. I was probably like a block away from the subway in Brooklyn, and that plane came down very low. And again, it was not a normal flight that I've ever seen at an airport. It was a plane that had a blue logo on the front, and it did not look like it belonged in this area, to be frankly about it. I mean, that's not an accident, in my personal opinion.
All right, let's bring in David Lee Miller, our correspondent. He has an eyewitness with him. David Lee, what can you tell us?
Good morning, John. I'm a few blocks from the World Trade Center right now. As you would expect, all the roadways are pretty much cut off. The only way to get near the buildings is on foot right now. The scene is absolutely a horrific one. You have people streaming out of the area. You've got people literally in tears and shock. People that just worked in the nearby buildings that cannot believe what has happened. Still, many of them remember the terrorist attack years ago on the World Trade Center, and for many of them, this is just an ugly reminder of that, although the details of what happened here are not certain. As I was walking downtown in Lower Manhattan, making my way to the World Trade Centers, I stopped to speak to Sylvia Fuentes. She's with me right now. We're a few blocks away from the building. She works in Lower Manhattan. She used to work in the Trade Center, and I'm going to actually hand her the telephone right now, and she's going to describe for us what she saw this morning as she was arriving at work. Sylvia?
Mitchell, it's
yes.
Sean.
Describe what you saw.
Hi, Sylvia.
Yes,
Sylvia, go ahead.
I was at the deli on Fulton Street, and I heard a loud rumbling, and when I walked out of the deli onto Fulton Street, I looked up in the air, and there was an airplane actually going into the World Trade Center, and flames were coming out, and smoke was just billowing in the air, and tons of people were running down Fulton Street, just running each other over, and I made my way back to my office on Water Street, and when I got upstairs, I looked out my window to see what was going on, and the Second World Trade Center just went into flames, just from 1 minute to the next.
Sylvia, thanks for that eyewitness report. And once again, David Lee Miller is on the phone with us. David?
I'm sorry, John, I didn't hear you.
Well, I just wanted to,